Give you Blackbeard's honest opinion. You ask me, can this new captain promise you a life of prizes, plunder, and adventure?
All right. What's up, everybody? It's your host with the most, the captain of the SDS Saber of Atlas. Your king of the Caribbean here, Atlas Ursiarus. We're chilling my slime. Doobie. But like I said before, we got some shit we gotta play. About this shit we gotta play now. So in here, we want to type in it's gonna be our 2025 computer build. We'll go off of Amazon. We're also watching a lot of PC Builder videos. Let me make sure that we got the window capture up. Let me see if I can capture this. Let's edit some of this. That'll work. Kind of. There we go. Yeah, I even hear shit he's saying.
To spend, the more important it is to get the best CPU and GPU balance. Of
Maybe this
course,
is
the
better for
term
y'all.
budget, it's very important here. Obviously, if you had unlimited money, then of course you just get the fastest CPU, GPU, SSD, and everything else, and you'd spend 5 to maybe 8 grand or more on the fastest gaming PC possible. But most of you out there, you gotta set budget, so nailing your CPU and GPU combo, it's gonna get you the most value for your money. In 2025, VRAM bottlenecks for GPUs are also worth considering. While 12 gigs of VRAM, it's still enough for most 1440p gaming, turning on upscaling, like DLSS, it does use more VRAM, and turning on heavy ray tracing uses even more VRAM itself. Thus, going from a graphics card like an RTX 5070 12GB GPU up to an RX 9070 XT 16GB or RTX 5070 Ti 16GB that can also have added benefits to consider. This is especially true for more budget builders, considering an 8GB graphics card, or even moving to 10 or 12GB that might allow them to improve their 1440p, possibly even 1080p gameplay experience by going up to high or ultra settings. Let's jump into our recommendations for best CPU and GPU combo for gaming in 2025. Now, everything is linked down in the video description along with resources like our build guide list for most popular CPUs and our how to build a PC playlist with our how-to and buying guides. Every month we do a video on the best CPU to buy and the best graphics card to buy based on the latest pricing and availability, and I've linked that playlist as well. For graphics cards, we're going to be considering ones that we can purchase new at retail right now. That's the RTX 50 series, the RX 9000 series, and the ARC B series, along with a couple of low-end graphics cards from previous generations for budget builds. For CPUs, we're going to look at the Ryzen 9000 and 7000 series and the 5000 series for budget builds. In 2025, I just don't recommend CPUs that are PCIe Gen 3 only. That's the Ryzen 5500, 5600G, or 5700 Non-X. And you can check out our PC parts to avoid in 2025 video for more on why. On the Intel side, we'll look at the Intel Core Ultra 200 CPUs and 13th and 14th gen unlocked parts for mid-range builds and the 12th gen Intel CPUs for budget builds. We're not going to look at the i3 parts, however, they're just too weak in 2025. Starting off at the budget level, you can build a gaming PC right now for around $650 with all new parts. On the AMD Ryzen side, our best options are the Ryzen 5600 variants like the Ryzen 5600, 5600X, T, and XT. And they all perform the same, and they come with included stock cooler. Honorable mention to the 5800 XT for about $140, which is a tiny bit faster and also has a good included stock. These platforms to between $275 and $295. For our GPU, most of the cheap graphics cards began around $230 at the time of filming, with something like the Intel Arc B570 10GB for $240 or the Arc B580 12GB for $260. Both these GPUs are heavy on the CPU usage, but the CPUs we're considering should be fine at 1440p. AMD Radeon options start around the currently $220 RX 6600 8GB and include the $270 RX 9060 XT 8GB. NVIDIA options start around $250 for the RTX 5050, or slightly better, if you can still find it, $260 RTX 3060 12GB GPU. Pricing is really volatile right now in the best graphics card under $300 price range, so check out our monthly best graphics card buying guide for the best value right now. For a maximum graphics card for these CPUs, I'd look to the RX 9060 XT 16GB, currently retailing for about $360, or the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB graphics card for about $430. You can't keep going, of course, but we do start to run into diminishing returns for CPU heavy titles or competitive titles like Marvel Rivals, and I would recommend upping the CPU platform. The next CPU up that I would look to on the AMD side, either the Ryzen 7600X or the 9600X, sitting around $180. In fact, the 9600X, it was as low as $156 during Amazon Prime Day earlier this year, but its typical price, it's a little closer to $200. We've got build guides for both the 7600X and the 9600X on the channel, which are under our PC build guide playlist, linked down in the video description. I recommend a value-oriented B650, B650E, or B850 motherboard for about $130 to $150, like the ASRock B850 M-X Revision 2 Wi-Fi, it's $130, or the MSI Pro B650 M-A for about $145. These CPUs are incredibly easy to cool. They really only need a budget tower air cooler for like $20, like the recently discounted id Cooling Frozen A410 SE. the Cooler Master Hyper
the whole
212
white, black
Pro, or
aesthetic
the
thing.
Thermalright Assassin 120 SE. On the Intel side, we've seen big price cuts to the i5 14600K and 13600K. They're now regularly about $190, but they do sometimes go on sale for
Still
much
2 months
cheaper.
ago,
And
so-
skip the terrible Core Ultra 5 CPUs. They're just too weak and expensive. For the i5 CPUs, we want a good B660, B760, Z690 or Z790 motherboard that supports DDR5 with occasional value picks like the $120 ASRock B760M Riptide, but more often you'll need to spend about $150 on something like the MSI Pro B760-VC Wi-Fi. As stock of these LGA 1700 motherboards, it's drying up. You'll want a dual tower air cooler, and you can pick up a great value
What's up with
around
dual tower
$35,
air coolers?
including the
It's so
id
loud.
Cooling A620 Pro SE or the Thermalright Peerless Assassin. Regardless of going Intel or Ryzen here, my RAM recommendations, they're the same. Get a 2x16GB kit of DDR5 6000 CL30 RAM. It's about $85 to $90, and it's the best value choice for both platforms. Now, between the two platforms, my strong recommendation, it's the Ryzen platform. Given its future upgradability to an X3D CPU, it's cheaper, but the 14600K, it does remain a good hybrid option if you also do professional level work and you need more CPU horsepower, though it lacks future upgradability. The total platform price at this tier is $440 to $465. That represents about $165 to $190 in cost above the previous CPU tier of performance. For our GPU combo, I would look at a minimum of an RX 9060 XT 16GB, RTX 5060 Ti 16GB, or the ARC B580 12GB GPUs. These CPUs, they're great performers for the price overall. In particular, I think they pair really well with mid-range to upper-end 1440p graphics cards like the RX 9070 16GB and RX 9070 XT 16GB, and the RTX 5070 12GB, as well as the RTX 5070 Ti 16GB graphics cards. You could push these up to an RTX 5080, but at that point, I definitely think it's time to move on to a higher performance game.
Yeah, this would have been what I would buy if I was
Gaming CPU, particularly if you're playing a lot of competitive
if
titles
someone
like
told me to get the
CS2 or Battlefield
5070,
6.
I'd
Jumping
go-
up to our upper mid-range CPU and GPU combos, and we basically have two options here. At current pricing for this budget level, the best gaming CPU, it's the Ryzen 7700, Ryzen 7700X, or the Ryzen 9700X, which can be had for anywhere between $250
What about the
up to
XT?
$300. Now, for gaming on the AMD Ryzen side, we do not want to go to the more expensive 12 or 16 core count non-X3D CPUs. We just don't pick up any more gaming performance over the 8-core models. In fact, we might lose some. But if you're production oriented, feel free to consider the Ryzen 9 CPUs like the 9900X or 9950X. For Intel, we've got the current Core Ultra 7 265K, which has received steep price cuts down to $280 and below, and you can still consider the i7 14700K. These CPUs will bump up average FPS by around 5% over the previous tier at 1440p using a mid-range or high-end graphics card. So this is not a huge increase, and the most impact is likely going to be seen in improved 1% low frame rates. For Ryzen motherboards, I have increased our spending to an ATX size B650, B650E, or B850 motherboard, like the Gigabyte B850 Eagle or B850 Gaming X Wi-Fi, but you could use any of the budget to mid-range motherboards from the previous tier. For the Core Ultra 7, the motherboards are quite good, and you can use a B860 or Z890, and for the i7 14700K, we're using the same motherboards as the previous tier. For RAM, we're sticking with DDR5 6000 CL30. It's just optimal for Ryzen, and it's the best price to performance for any of the Intel systems. For Ryzen CPU coolers, we want a dual tower air cooler for around $35, as we do want to turn on Precision Boost Overdrive, and I bumped this up a little bit for the Intel CPUs as they run hotter, and we might want to consider a good liquid cooler instead. For our GPU combo, I'd look at a minimum of an RX 9070 16GB or RTX 5070 12GB GPU. You do not want to go to a lesser GPU here, as this is the tier I'm most worried about people oversizing their CPU at the expense of their GPU. Now, you can take these combos all the way up to an RX 9070 XT and beyond to the RTX 5080 or RTX 5090. Of course, we hit a lot of bottleneck with almost any gaming CPU that is not an X3D CPU with the RTX 5090. So at that point, we really want to move up in terms of our CPU performance to the ultimate tier. Now let's look at the current top tier of gaming CPUs in 2025, with the ultimate being the Ryzen 9800 X3D, and I will mention the 9950 X3D as well if you do a lot of production or professional core that would benefit from more than
5.
8 CPU cores. There is, of course, no gaming performance difference between those two CPUs. We have seen rumors of a new 16-core dual X3D CPU. You can consider it if it launches. But coming in just behind the 9800X3D, it's the Ryzen 7800X3D, which saw a huge price drop in the middle of 2025. At this performance tier, Intel, they just don't have anything competitive. The Ryzen 9800X3D or 9950X3D, they're going to offer at least 10 to 15% better gaming performance with its RTX 5090 at 1440p ultra detail settings. Even more if you're using lowered settings in competitive titles. And the Ryzen 7800X3D, it's not far behind. We've got build guides for both the Ryzen 9800X3D and Ryzen 7800X3D linked down in the PC parts and build video playlist. We're going to pair our Ryzen 9800X3D or 7800X3D CPUs with a B650E, X670, B850, or X870 motherboard for the PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, just in case it's ever relevant. So a motherboard like the Gigabyte B850 Eagle for $164, or the Asus TUF B650E Plus for $189. If you're using a 9950X3D, just make sure you get a higher end motherboard with good VRM for the 16-core CPU. There's a lot of good options from the B850 Tomahawk Wi-Fi and the Asus B850 TUF for around $215, and good quality X870 production-oriented motherboards, they begin around $260. Now to cool the 8-core X3D CPUs, we want any of the dual tower air coolers from the previous tier, like the Thermalright Peerless Assassin or id Cooling A620 SE. My cooling recommendation for the Ryzen 9950X3D, it's to go for a high-performance liquid all-in-one cooler for around $100, like the 360mm Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro or the Montech Hyperflow 360. For RAM, we could use DDR5 6000CL30 kits, but I did spend an extra $20 going to DDR5 6000CL28 instead, because we're running out of things to upgrade. The 7800X3D upgrade is an additional $155 over the previous tier, with the 9800X3D upgrade costing $274 more, and the 9950X3D coming in, it's almost twice as expensive as the previous tier of CPUs. For our GPU combos, for a minimum, I would recommend the Radeon RX 9070 16GB or RTX 5070 12GB, and that's primarily for the Ryzen 7800X3D. For the 9800X3D, I would recommend a minimum of an RTX 5070 Ti 16GB or RX 9070 XT 16GB. Either of these CPUs are going to pair really well with an RTX 5080 or an RTX 5090, though honestly, if I'm spending $2,500 to $3,000 on my RTX 5090, I'm probably going to spend the extra $100 and get the Ryzen 9800X3D.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Of course, we've heard rumors that AMD might launch a bigger GPU, and obviously any of these CPUs will go well with that should that happen. Or should NVIDIA launch a 5070 Ti Super, 5080 Super, or some kind of 5090 Super or Ti version. Congratulations, you own one of the fastest gaming PCs on planet Earth. But what about production or creator workloads that need more CPU power? Well, for these use cases, we want more balance, but it does depend heavily on the types of programs that we're using. Take video editing in Adobe Premiere Pro. Well, going up from 6 cores to 8 cores, that does help. So does increasing your GPU power for the rendering and the export. So oversizing your CPU at the expense of your GPU, it's actually going to hurt overall performance, and we see this in a lot of professional applications. I've linked all the CPUs and GPUs mentioned in this video down in the description. Check those out for current pricing and availability in your region. And of course, check out our build guides for specific CPUs in the PC build guide video playlist, and all of our other how-to videos like Best RAM for Gaming 2025, Best SSD for Gaming, Best Ryzen Motherboard, and of course, how to build a PC and how to set up your PC after you build it. If you got value out of this video, please give it a like. Makes a With recent massive price cuts, the Ryzen 7800X3D, it's now the best value high-end gaming CPU of 2025. But what's the best graphics card, motherboard, RAM, and cooler to complete your build? Welcome back. PC cases, my favorite Atrium style case is the Montech. At this video, please give a like, makes a huge difference to the channel. Of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by porkbun.com, named the #1 domain registrar by USA Today 3 years running. Still using GoDaddy? Switch to Pork1 and grab your next .app or .dev domain for just $5.99 for the first year. Perfect for tech pros and developers, these domains, powered by Google Registry, are ideal for showcasing your projects, SaaS apps, or digital portfolios. Plus, Pork1 domains come with built-in HTTPS security, SSL certificates, whois privacy, and URL forwarding in the video description. So what's the best graphics card for the Ryzen 7800X 3D in 2025? Well, typically we get the most FPS in a gaming PC build by buying the fastest graphics card we can afford than just getting a CPU that won't bottleneck it. But as we get to the higher end of GPU performance, the CPU, it really does start to matter, especially in CPU intensive titles or competitive titles like Marvel Rivals, where lowered settings are used to maximize frame rates and of course, even lowered resolutions. Now, currently the Ryzen 7800X 3D is selling for $340 US. That is a huge price cut from the $450 price earlier this year. I'll leave retail links in the video description so you can check current pricing and availability in your region. Meanwhile, the slightly faster Ryzen 9800X 3D, it's about $480, and good but slower mid-range CPUs like the Ryzen 7600X and 9600X are about $170. That makes the Ryzen 7800X 3D the sweet spot for upper mid-range graphics cards, and I would start to consider this CPU over the slower Ryzen CPUs with an RTX 5070 or RX 9070 GPU as a minimum. I'd definitely be considering it for the RTX 5070 Ti or RX 9070 XT graphics card, especially given the large price difference to jump up to the RTX 5080, which currently is selling above $1,300 US.
Yeah,
now, if you're buying an RTX 5080, then I think the 7800X 3D is the minimum CPU I'd look to if you can't quite stretch to the 9800X 3D. And while we could consider this CPU with the RTX 5090, which is currently retailing for $2,500 US or more, I think spending the extra money and getting the 9800X 3D in that scenario, that's the right play. Now, we went with the RTX 5070 Ti Gigabyte Gaming OC model that Gigabyte sent over to us, which is one of the beefier RTX 5070 Ti models for cooling and one of the more aggressively overclocked RTX 5070 Ti models, so big thank you to Gigabyte. So what's the best RAM for the Ryzen 7800X 3D? Well, RAM speeds for Ryzen 7000 and 9000 series CPUs, they're pretty set in stone right now. But if you need a refresher, check out our Best RAM for Gaming 2025 video. We cover everything there from the basics on up. Now, we want a 2-stick kit of DDR5 6000 CL30 RAM. We never ever exceed more than 2 sticks because the current generation of DDR5 memory controllers, they just can't handle 4 sticks at the speeds that we want, and you're gonna end up with a lot of system crashes. We want 6000 speed specifically because going either faster than that or slower than that, it loses performance. And we want our cache latency to be at CL30 or lower to get the tightest timings possible. Though there are some CL28 and CL26 kits out there, I have tested them with Ryzen X3D CPUs. You just don't see much benefit at all with an X3D CPU for those kits, so it's the last place that I would look to spend money to try and increase performance. And don't forget to turn on Expo or XMP one-click auto overclocking profile in the BIOS to get your full rated speed on your RAM. In terms of the amount of RAM, I strongly recommend a 2x16 gigabyte kit, so that's 32 gigabytes total. This is plenty for gaming and even many professional tasks like video editing. I do not recommend overspending to get 64 gigabytes or more of RAM unless you have a very specific application that you know absolutely requires it. Because honestly, that money could be better spent on performance items like jumping up to a Ryzen 9800X 3D, getting a better GPU, better cooler, more SSD storage, and so forth. Now, great 32 gigabyte DDR5 6000 CL30 kits, they start for as little as about $80 to $90 without RGB, like the Patriot Viper Venom kits with a metal finish, or kits by Silicon Power and Team Group in white or black. RGB kits start around $100, with kits like my favorite Team Group T-Force Delta kit that we used in our build in white. Similarly priced kits in black or white are available, like the Silicon Power Zenith, the G-Skill Ripjaws M5, and Trident Neo kits, or you can pick up G-Skill's low-profile non-RGB kits with something like the Flare series. And there are tons of other kits from Corsair, Kingston Fury, and others. I'll leave some listed down in the video description for you to check out. I'll also leave some DDR5 6000 CL28 kits and DDR5 6000 CL26 kits as well. So what's the best motherboard for the Ryzen 7800X 3D in 2025? Well, the good news is the 7800X 3D, it will work on any AM5 motherboard and most should boot without a BIOS update. But I do recommend updating to the latest non-beta BIOS. And our PC setup guide is going to walk you through how to do that. It's linked down in the video description under our How to Build a PC playlist. Now, quick heads up on ASRock motherboards. they were linked to higher than normal Ryzen 9800X3D failures. Now, while the 7800X3D has not shown that issue, ASRock says that BIOS versions 3.25 or 3.26 or later fixes it. Now, reports of failures have dropped, but if you're uneasy, go with an MSI, Gigabyte, or Asus motherboard instead. So what chipset should you get? Well, AMD's naming, it's a mess. A620, B650, B840, B850, X870 with random E versions tossed in. Here's your shortcut. Skip A620 and B840 motherboards. They just don't include AMD's auto overclocking utility called Precision Boost Overdrive, which we want to enable in the BIOS to get the maximum performance. Focus instead on B650, B650E, and B850. These offer great value for gamers without paying for creator features on X series motherboards that you just don't need. In 2025, motherboards with PCIe Gen 5 GPU slots are now equally priced, so my advice, just grab that feature for free. All B650E and most B850 motherboards, along with all the X series motherboards, have it. Still, Gen 4 only GPU slot B650 motherboards, they're totally fine if pricing in your region is really tough. Of course, we got a great video, Best Ryzen Motherboard 2025. Check that out for more recommendations. But right now, here are my top picks for the best motherboards for the Ryzen 7800X3D. Jumping into mid-range micro ATX motherboards, I really like the ASRock B850M Pro-A Wi-Fi. It's about $140. It only seems to be available at Newegg in the US for some reason, but it has great Mac flat styling, 3 full bandwidth M.2 SSD slots, 4 high-speed USB ports, including a Type-C, and 4 USB 2.0 ports with Wi-Fi 6E. The Gigabyte B850M Gaming X Wi-Fi, another good pick at $159 with stronger VRMs, 2 M.2 SSD slots, 4 high-speed USB ports including a Type-C, and 4 more USB 2.0 ports, and a built-in rear I/O shield, Wi-Fi 6E, and even better styling. Moving over to mid-range ATX size motherboards, my top picks include the ASRock B850 Pro-A. Got very solid VRMs, 4 M.2 NVMe SSD slots, the Winam's only PCIe Gen 3, 6 high-speed USB ports with 2 Type-Cs, and 6 more USB 2.0 ports, tons of connectivity. Along with great black styling for $140 and a Wi-Fi version for $20 more. I also really like the Gigabyte B850 Gaming X Wi-Fi for about $170, also with great VRMs, along with 3 M.2 NVMe SSD slots, all of which have heat spreaders, 6 high-speed USB ports, and 2 USB 2.0 ports, nice styling, and a built-in rear I/O shield with Wi-Fi 6E. There's also the Asus B650E Max Gaming Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm not a
between
fan of the white and
$149
black
and $169. It offers slightly weaker but still fine VRMs, 2 full bandwidth M.2 SSD slots, 1 half bandwidth M.2 slot, along with 6 high-speed USB ports and a Type-C, and 2 USB 2.0 ports. And it comes with silver heat sinks on either a white or black PCB motherboard. And it's the cheapest all-white motherboard out there. Moving up to premium motherboards, we're looking for 3 full bandwidth M.2 drives with at least 2 having heat sinks, a built-in rear I/O plate with good USB connectivity, upgraded audio codec to ALC 1200, 1220, or 4080, and strong VRMs. And obviously, we want it to look amazing. Pricing is really volatile in this area of the market, and sometimes an X870 or higher end motherboard will go on sale. But generally, my top picks, they start around $185 US with the ASRock B850 Live Mixer, which we used in our build, and ASRock did send over to us, so thank you to ASRock. It features 3 M.2 NVMe SSD slots with 3 having heat spreaders, ALC 1220 audio, 6 high-speed USB ports with a Type-C, and 8 more USB 2.0 ports. Just tons of connectivity. It also has rock-solid VRMs and great styling. There's also the ASRock B850 PG Riptide, just a slightly different feature set in a more gamery look, and the B850 Steel Legend in all white. The Asus TUF B650E Plus is a great pick, and it essentially is an upgraded version of their excellent B650 motherboard with a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, 3 full bandwidth M.2 NVMe SSD slots with heat spreaders, 4 high-speed USB ports including a Type-C, and 4 USB 2.0 ports, along with Wi-Fi 6E. It also uses the same styling as the B850 TUF, which I personally think is the best looking B850 motherboard out there. Now the B850 TUF version, it ups the speed of the 4 USB 2.0 ports, so they're all fast, and it adds Wi-Fi 7. It often only sells for a little bit more, so I'd consider that as well, but I would definitely avoid the TUF-E version, which is a massively cut down motherboard that sells for the same price and looks the same, but it's actually mid-range at best. If you want an MSI motherboard, I do like the B850 Tomahawk as well, with 3 M.2 SSD slots, all with heat spreaders, 6 high-speed USB ports with 3 Type-Cs, along with 4 2.0 ports, nice black styling with green logo highlights, and Wi-Fi 7 for about $220. So what's the best CPU cooler for the Ryzen 7800X 3D? Now we want to enable Precision Boost Overdrive. That is AMD's one-click auto overclocking feature. In the high-speed USB, definitely avoid the tiny Gen 5 GPU slot, 3 full bandwidth with M.2 NVMe SSD slot, and 2 uses the same styling as the B850 Tough, which I personally think is the best looking B850 motherboard out, and Wi-Fi CPU cooler for the Ryzen 7800X 3D. Now we want to enable Precision Boost Overdrive. That is AMD's one-click auto overclocking feature in the BIOS to get the best performance. And for that, we're going to need at least a dual tower air cooler or a 240mm AIO cooler. Now for value-focused builds, great air coolers, they're available in either black or white, and they start at just $29, with the id cooling A620 Pro SE or the RGB version for about $10 more, the Thermalright Phantom Spirit or Peerless Assassin, which also comes in white and has a new digital version with CPU and GPU temperature readouts for about $45, or the Cooler Master Hyper 620S or the really striking Hyper 622 Halo for $60 in white or black. If you want to take the build aesthetics to the next level, just about any 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler is sufficient, and while 360mm coolers they're a bit overkill, they look and perform amazing. Coolers that I recommend include the budget Thermalright Aqua Elite V3 Liquid AIO cooler, it's about $60, the $70 id cooling FX Infinity Mirror in white that we used in our build, the Cooler Master Master Liquid 360L for about the same price. If you want higher cooling performance, check out either the Montech Hyperflow 360 or the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 brand new Pro version, and both of those cost right around $100 in black or white. So what's the best SSD for the Ryzen 7800X 3D? If you haven't had a chance to watch our best SSD for 6 Master Liquid V3 kill, they look and perform in millimeter any the build for $60 in white or black. If you want to take the build aesthetics to the next level, just about any 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler is sufficient, and while 360mm coolers they're a bit overkill, they look and perform amazing. Coolers that I recommend include the budget Thermalright Aqua Elite V3 Liquid AIO cooler, it's about $60, the $70 id cooling FX Infinity Mirror in white that we used in our build, the Cooler Master.
I think I'll grab the Cooler Master.
L for about the same price. What's the best SSD for the Ryzen 7800X 3D? If you haven't had a chance to watch our best SSD for gaming 2025 video, it is linked down in the video description under our How to Build a PC playlist, and you can do that for a deeper dive. But basically, there is no current gaming benefit from using anything faster than even a SATA SSD. But of course, Gen 3 and Gen 4 NVMe SSDs, they're just as cheap, they're faster for other workloads, and they're super easy to install with no cables. And Gen 5 NVMe SSDs, they continue to be massively overpriced, and they are a total waste of your money. For budget-focused builds, the Silicon Power UD90, the Team Group G50, or Western Digital SN5000, those are great drives that we've recommended in the past. For more premium builds, looking to add a DRAM cache to make the SSD a little snappier when doing things like file copies and game installs, consider grabbing a drive like the Clevcraft C930 that we used in our build, the Team Group G70 Pro, or the Acer Predator GM7000. Right now, 2TB drives, they are the best price per terabyte, following closely by 4TB models for those looking for more storage. And this is not 2015 anymore. You don't need separate drives for your operating system and storage. A single large capacity drive is fine and it's going to save you money. I'll leave several SSDs linked down in the video description. For the PC case, what we want here is good airflow. Now, since we are likely using a higher end GPU, we're likely looking to step up from the most basic budget PC cases, or you could add some additional fans to them. Now, some good budget micro ATX options include the Okonos Mirage 4, which uses a bottom intake setup, or the Thermaltake View TG170, and both of these would go great with a top-mounted 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler, or adding top fans for additional airflow. For ATX-sized PC cases, my favorite Atrium-style case is the Montech XR for around $70 with side intake fans and one rear exhaust fan. But I know it's been super hard to find in stock in 2025, so there are a number of very similar PC cases like the Thermaltake View 270 that are just fine to go with. For traditional front intake PC cases, I like the Montech XR Wood with 4 included ARGB fans for about $70, or you can step up to the Corsair 4000D RS frame version. It's a much improved.
Let me see what the Montech would look like. Because that or pre-installed before.
Improved case over the previous 4000D Airflow version, and it now comes with 3 included ARGB fans with standard connectors, though I would add in a rear exhaust fan. We went with the Okonos Aqua 7 ATX size PC case in white for about $90 with 6 included ARGB fans where the bottom and side fans are reverse blade intake. Now check out the links in the video description and our best PC case 2025 guide for more options. All right, what about the power supply, or PSU for short? Now, if you have not seen our how to buy a PSU 2025 buying guide, we cover how to size and buy the best unit for your build based on unit quality, not the nonsensical 80+ rating. I will leave that link below. Basically, I take the rated power draw and PC part picker of all the components and I multiply it by 1.5 to get the minimum wattage. For a build like this, given the high-end GPUs that we're considering for it, I would recommend getting at least a B tier or better PSU as rated on the new SPL PSU tier list. If you're using an NVIDIA GPU with the 12-volt high power connector, I'd recommend getting at least an ATX 3.0 PSU or 3.1 if you can. Try not to bend the connector in a way that puts stress on the connection point itself, though this can be a challenge much of the time. We went with the Asus Prime 850 watt B plus rated unit that Asus sent over, which includes a 12 volt high power connector, so big thank you to Asus for that. So I put together 2 build templates to get you started. The first, it's a mid-range value focused build that uses the Ryzen 7800 X3D at its current $340 price, with a mid-range air cooler, a mid-range ATX sized motherboard, DDR5 6000 CL30 non-RGB RAM, a 2TB budget NVMe SSD, the Montech XR Wood front intake PC case, and a B tier rated 850 watt PSU on the SPL PSU tier list. Without the GPU included, the build cost is just above $900 US. For a more premium build like this one here, we went with a 360mm AIO cooler. We upgraded the motherboard to a more premium B850 model for $220. We went with RGB on the RAM at DDR5 6000 CL28. We upgraded the NVMe SSD to one with DRAM at Gen 4 speed. We went with the Antec C5 Premium PC case and a 1000 watt A tier rated PSU, all for just about $1,100 before the cost of the GPU. Of course, you can spend more with additional M.2 storage, even more premium motherboards and PC cases, and of course higher wattage PSUs, but these templates should get you started. And I'm going to leave both of them linked down in the video description for you to check out, along with some alternative parts. parts. So let me know down in the comments what kind of 7800 XPD build are you considering. Of course, remember to check out everything linked down in the video description here. We went with a 360mm AIO cooler. We upgraded the motherboard to a more premium B850 model for $220. We went with RGB on the RAM at DDR5 6000CL28. We upgraded the NVMe SSD to one with DRAM at Gen 4 speed. We went with the Antec C5 Premium PC case and a 1000 watt A-tier rated PSU, all for just about $1,100 before the cost of the GPU. Of course, you can spend more with additional M.2 storage, even more premium motherboards and PC cases, and of course higher wattage PSUs, but these templates should get you started. And I'm gonna leave both of them linked down in the video description for you to check out, along with some alternative parts. So let me know down in the comments what kind of 7800 XPD build are you considering. Of course, remember to check out everything linked down in the video description for current pricing and availability, and if new motherboards or pricing changes, we will of course change our recommendations down there. Of course, we also have our how to build a PC playlist link down there, including our guide on how to actually build the PC and set it up after your build. And if you got value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. And we will catch you on the next one.
Oh, yes, I
All
got.
right, welcome back to PC Builder. We had so many submissions for our...
Man, 4 years ago. 4 years. Yeah. Well, just about finished that one. Oh. So this is a little bit less. Yeah. Not the most expensive. Definitely not the most expensive computer I've bought. So technically, this one that I'm currently using right now is still the most expensive computer I've bought and built. And from what I got, from when I was breaking down the prices, this shit don't look that crazy. Especially if in the next 2 weeks I could pick up the, if I could pick up the GPU and the CPU in the next 2 weeks, like everything else. That's if I can do all that. Oh, let's switch over. Dasha. I'd say, so I guess it's not counting. Yeah.
I've been training for this.
3, 2, 1, stop!
All right, I'll show you. I wish you a good fight.
You should be glad I'm on your side.
Let's go. Still a long ways for walk. Let's go. Never step in my train. I'll knock you out.
Wow! So cool! Juicy head!
Brother. Hell! Where the fuck are you?
Sorry to keep
Yo, ain't no way Goldfinch left me in a fight by myself. I thought he was fighting the kid.
Let's go. Here I come. You're fighting again. Show yourself, let's go.
Alright, let's get this over with.
Let's go. Let's go.
I did it! I'll go up top.
Step in my train.
Perfect shot.
Let's go. You're welcome.
The time to use my power is at hand.
I'll take you on.
You will tremble before my unexpected. Assistant. Looking good.
Well done. Your place is my service.
Please let this be all. Next man. God of destruction.
Let's go. I got this. Good. Gotcha.
Go
We'll
keep
win.
this battle up.
That's it.
From the god of destruction.
Let's do that again! I'll go up top!
Let's go. Gotcha.
Everyone!
Push yourself too Let's gotcha. Moving to make a difference.
Look how hard they're fighting! I'll go up top!
I'm fine. No problem here.
Have no fear, go check out Mr.
Everything is within my grasp. Here I go. Here I go.
It's down to me to trounce you. Now then, it's time. 3, 2, 1, stop! Leave them to me. This is no time for pointless chatter. Wait, what? Over there! No! challenge the king of the demon realm. Choose now. Surrender.
Wow! So cool! You see that? I'll go up top.
Bro, what the fuck?
Oh, damn it. There's no way I...
Retreat for now.
Over here. Don't complain of any unbearable advantage. I crush you.
Don't tell me you came all the way here just to lose to me.
Bro, ain't no fucking way.
You are such a handful.
Ain't no fucking way.
Show me the power of the strongest warriors on earth. Over there.
All right, let's get this over with.
I'll go up top.
Bro, what the fuck is this? Yo, I swear,
don't succeed.
the way hip playing makes me just look at me. What
Time to feast.
the fuck? Like Gohan? Yeah. It's like, why did I get so much damage?
I don't believe it.
Bro, I could be out here taking hits. Help, Gohan! Gohan. Fuck yeah. Wait.
This is the end.
How are you not there? What the fuck? Bro, I literally turned to stone. Sent one of y'all to pick up bro.
Time to fight is at hand. How dare you! It's overflowing.
As expected.
Assisted. Hells.
Looking good.
So brave. They're rubbish. I'll clean them up easily when I move.
This can't be happening. Oh no! They broke through your
Bro.
current destruction.
Don't think I'll always clean up your mess.
Don't know how to protect them.
Here it comes.
Do you learn?
Fight with everything you've got.
That's enough fooling around. Bring it on! How about you? Increasing even further. I'll crush them with this power. Take me gone.
Hey, hey, bro. Like, how does one fight hit? Because, you know, castrate themselves.
Ta-ta.
That's enough fooling around.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Look how hard they're fighting! I'll go up top!
So I actually,
Let's go.
Sending love, the happiness of all! Ribrian!
where the hell did it hit disappear to?
Oh no! They broke through your gut passage. Looking good. Nice job. They broke through the god of destruction.
Now let's
The enemy's max action burst with a direct hit on the god of destruction.
Bro, hell!
Show me the extent of your power.
I'll go down low!
You'd like to say, do not let me
Grow
down.
with beauty, my lord!
I was gonna go back here. And up here, it was like,
Broke through the god of destruction.
Let's do that again!
a business.
I'll go up top! My turn to try!
Nice. You nailed that max action burst.
Gotta go.
Captain Patrolman, check over!
Hey, come. Oh, thirsty.
What is this?
This is bad. Dire Straits. There, good as new.
I have a lot more fight in me. You try to touch me.
Where the fuck did he go? I hate fighting against him.
Still catch up if we can!
I have a literal spear that I can find wherever the fuck you're at. Somehow that just don't work. If it looks like oh. Here. Pick that.
I'll go up top!
Don't tell me we all got wiped. We kind of lost this one. We all got wiped. I was like, yeah, nah, it's good. It wiped us.
Be grateful you were not immediately destroyed.
Got wiped. It was 22 seconds. None of us were coming.
But the Zetos on their side for 26 seconds.
No.
Isn't that, Tommy?
When the Zetos went back on our side.
Oh, I thought that was them going to. Yeah, I thought it was the other way around. Can I get in? Let me get in.
Stop.
Oh, okay.
Tired.
Fear. I heard help, and I was like, oh, was that a request?
That was not a request.
What?
That was
Slingshot. Cool. Me slingshotting my way back to Brooklyn. I'm on the way.
hell.
Here I go. Cool, huh?
Not right now. Yeah.
Here I go.
God, what's the production quality of IRL? Oh,
Cool, huh?
motherfuckers have better production value than most of the reality shows. Damn. Somebody needs to call up. Somebody on Love Island needs to call these IRL studios cameramen. Like, wait, hold on. Really good camera shots. I'm gonna need you for next season of Love Island. Yo, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Enjoy y'all tonight. Probably maybe tomorrow. Probably not.